Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be doing a really quick art journaling page in my Kraft Journal and doing some stamping straight onto the journal page. So I don't tend to stamp directly into my journal very often, but this Kraft Journal is just amazing to stamp on. It's quite thick cardboard and it's just brilliant for stamping on. So I would highly recommend, if you want to stamp in your journals or you like stamping in your journals, this is a great journal to get. So I've just started off with some black and white across the middle of the page, and now I'm adding in some stenciling over the top with the pale pink. So I had a bit of an idea when I was doing this that I wanted to have some gloss sprays sort of sprayed across the middle of my page to add some extra colour, but I wanted to have some acrylic paint there to begin with so that the gloss sprays had something to resist against and something to sort of bring the colour out. So obviously if I did this straight onto my craft page, or if I sprayed straight onto my craft page, it's going to soak into the surface, and you'll see that as I do it. Where that pinky colour is, you'll see the colours stay really vibrant, so you get that beautiful turquoise and the greens that are going to come up once I get my sprays working properly. Always clean your sprays when you're finished. So my sprayer wasn't quite working, so I decided just to pour some on the top, and then I just used my paintbrush to move it around the page. You know, there's always a way to apply paint. The only thing that I've really done in that is just to put a little bit of tissue paper across the centre to sop up any that was soaking into the middle spine. That just helps prevent it leaking onto other pages. As I said before, this is a fairly thick cardboard, so it's not going to affect the binding, that it's going to soften the pages so much they fall out, but it's probably good just to, you know, make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. So you can see where the gloss sprays have gone on to just the normal craft, how it's sort of soaked in a little bit more than where it's sitting on the stenciled pieces, so you can actually really see the colour. Certainly down in the bottom right hand corner you can sort of see the difference there. So once I'd done this background, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, but I decided I was going to get in with my stamps. Now this is a stamp set that I bought recently, but it's either the beginning of last year or even the year before when it was released. This is the Tim Holtz, I think it's called Mini Glitch stamp set from Stampers Anonymous, and it's just got some really cool, they're not, I wouldn't necessarily call them steampunk, but industrial type stamps, which I really like for their mark making quality. I love text, I love numbers, I love mark making, so this particular stamp set really appeals to me. But I hope you can see how easily it's stamping on the pages. I'm not using my blocks to do this, and I'm getting really crisp, clear stamped images. And for anyone who's tried to stamp, for example, in the little white 6x6 journal where it's got that watercolor brag paper which is quite bumpy, you're not going to get stamping like this. So if you like stamping in your backgrounds, I'd highly suggest trying stamping on this page. So I decided once I did that I was going to keep going with the stamping theme, because I don't tend, apart from sort of using the background mark making style, I don't actually use my stamps very often in my journals, which I really should, because I've got so many of them. So I'm using this funky little set, again a Dina Wakley stamp set. I think it's called Funny People. I just really love these three little figures. They just appeal to me. For me, there's something about them that they always remind me of family. So I just like that. You know, you've got mum, dad and the kids, which, you know, fits for our family anyway. That's my narrative when I stamp with them. So I'm just sort of rearranging and trying to work out the grouping of how I wanted them to fit on my page together, and that's what I find a lot with particularly when doing pages like this. It's not necessarily the backgrounds I can knock out really quickly, but it's the placing of the focal image that tends to take the most time. But you know, it is what it is. I have fun doing it. The other thing that I'm doing is drawing over some of the lines with my Stabilo oil pencil and then just wetting them, and you get this sort of shaded inky effect with very little effort. I was a little heavy-handed, particularly on the face, but if you add a little bit extra water in, it will remove it. The paper that I'm using to stamp on is digital photo paper. I think I got it from Officeworks for those Aussie peeps. It's really great for stamping on. Again, it's really, really smooth, but it also, if you do anything water medium on it, it does soak in really instantly. So just be aware that you know, it's not like watercolor paper. You know, it's designed that it's just going to soak into the surface. So once I'd add my little figures, I wanted to add a quote to the page. So this is a Darkroom Doris quote that I've had for ages, which I really like. Just at normal, that's crazy enough. And I thought I'd add that onto the page too as a bit of a focus point. So again, you know, I tend to cut those into little words and have them sort of spread out around the page, but this time I'd actually just decided to keep it as the full quote. Put a little bit of black around the edge just to edge it. I am going back in with my white pen, like I always do with my figures, and adding in the whites of the eyes. And for these ones, I'm also adding in a little bit of red just to add as a little bit of contrast colour to my page. I'm also adding in these little washi heights, just, you know, again to sort of get that pop of colour on the page. And to balance that up, on the other page I decided I'd add red to the crazy, just to sort of make it all tie together. So you've got this sort of triangle of colour happening on the page. I also add a little bit onto the images to balance it up. So here's a close-up of the entire piece. So you can see sort of the stenciling in the background, how the gloss sprays have balanced it out, how that stamping's been, you know, got onto the back of the page really, really easily. And the great thing is with the acrylic, archival inks, it goes over the top of the gloss sprays and acrylic paints really easily as well. So you've got sort of this really smooth surface that takes stamping beautifully, and it goes on top of mixed media. So I hope you have a go at stamping in your journals. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.